So I wanted to give a quick kind of rundown of how I use the Stream Deck in our basketball broadcasts. So before I do that, though, I kind of wanted to show you the general layout. And so this is the production. This right here, these 4 monitors are our primary vMix machine. This is where almost everything is done. Via an external output, the program goes to the secondary vMix machine right here. And that enables us to do some pips and stuff like that, and I'll show that in a minute. And then from there, it goes to a third vMix machine over here via external output, which also does the streaming and the recording. And that's just to take some resources off each one of the machines. I could probably do all this in the primary one, but I think I would be really pushing that machine. So this just kind of separates that. And it makes a little bit of the setup easier. So let's show you what we got going on here. So I use two Stream Deck XLs. And what you're seeing here on the right, this one right here, this multi-view, that is my primary multi-view. That's the multi-view for cutting the broadcast. This one over here is the PIP multi-view, and so this is the secondary vMix machine. And what this allows me to do is to show maybe some other broadcasts going on while continuing to show the normal production. And so I can do all my cutting as I normally would. In the broadcast, and it is going to show up in that PIP. And so let's just take a look at this two Stream Decks I have here. And so this right here is kind of the primary cutting surface. And so you can see I've got my previews and my programs, and the 3 primary cameras aren't plugged in right now, but you can see them switching. You can see the tally changing on those, and these other ones are just permanent cameras that are installed in the venue. And so I've got my red for program, green for preview. Up here is my replay buttons. I can quick take a replay capture, and once that's going to create an event starting 3 minutes prior to when I push the button. And I've got the set camera, and so I can set the camera that I want to choose to replay from. So real quickly, I can go -3, set camera 2, and play that replay out. So I can play a replay out pretty much instantaneous. I've got these tags, and so if I've captured a replay and I want to tag it, I can, -3, set camera 2, and that is a home person. And I can give it a star if it's if I think it's a really important one, and then send to 10. And in vMix, what that's going to do for me is that's just going to send that replay into the 10th channel. And so at the end of the game, or at the end of the quarter, the half, whatever, I can go to channel 10, and I know that everything in channel 10 is a replay worth showing in a demo, in a reel or a meld. One of the things you also see here on these is you can see the scores. So I have it in my scorebug software that's taking the score data from the scoreboard controller. Not only is it updating the graphics on the broadcast, but it's also updating these buttons. And so when I click that away tag, it's going to tag an away, but it's also going to tag the score at the game. So if I wanted to find a replay later on down the road, it would be a little easier to find it because I know what the score was. So this is kind of my first shift button right here. You'll see I've got a couple more on the other screen. So when I hold that down, what that does is that just gives me a couple more replay buttons, things that I don't use as much. I can change the replay speed. I can clear the tags. I can go to specific channels. When I release that, it just comes back to where I was. And this is kind of a nice little hack that I really like in Companion. And I should say I'm using Companion to drive all this, not the Stream Deck software. This allows me to, just hold it down, touch something, and then get back. One of the things with the Stream Deck software and just kind of natively in Companion is this concept of navigating between pages. Just takes way too long. And for me, being able to just hold the button down, I do it, and I'm back, and I'm right back to where I was. I don't have to hit another button to go back. So in my secondary Stream Deck over here, this is where I've got a lot of my overlays. And so I can put the score bug up, and you can see that up there in the program in the top right. Or I can show the score title. I can show some team stats. I can switch to another page of team stats. Maybe I'll just want to show some conference standings. And you can see each time I press one of these, it also I get the tally indicator that it's stats up. If I've got during foul shooting, or if I just want to highlight a player, I can click home or away, and you see when I click that, it's going to change this. And so now I can just select the player on the other team. See, I want player 20, and when I press this, it's going to pop up player 20, and I can clear that, or I can go to the home. I want player 32. So there we go. And so that makes it super easy to get to those player cards. And then I can just clear that player card again. And you can see I kind of have these little, I've custom designed all these buttons to make them easier to kind of figure out what they do. And you can see these ones have that little line under. That means they're all connected, so they're all related to the same function. I've also got, I can show who's on the court at any one time. I can show a ticker, so I can, show scores of other games going on. And then I can also do a pip. And so if I press this pip button, you're going to see over on the left-hand multi-view that now I've gone into a picture-in-picture mode, and I can still be cutting the show with whatever I want, and I'm still seeing those pips. And I can bring that pip down, and you can see also on the buttons when that pip is activated that those buttons are flashing. So that's going to remind me that that's active, because I'm not seeing it on my primary multi-view, which is this one over here on the right. And so I'm looking at that one and cutting the show, but I've got this flashing here to remind me that what I'm seeing in my multi-view is not what's actually going on in the broadcast, that there's a pip up. And I can change that with the settings button. So if I click the settings button right here, now it brings up some more settings. And so I can define which input goes into which box, whichever way I want to do it. I'm probably going to start off this way, but maybe one of those games ends. So then I'm going to switch to just a 2. And let's say this is a game, maybe 1 is ended. So let's set it to 2 and 3. And so, well, actually, let's go there. Let's cut out of that pip. And so now I can change it to like 2 or 3. So now I go to 2, or even 1. There's just one game left, and I just wanted 1. I want this one, whatever I want. And then I can just transition to that 1. And I've also got exit out of that pip. I've also got these audio settings, which it's got some buttons over here that I use for some data stuff, but this is kind of the audio settings. And so if I want to turn the PA on, so we'll go to the introductions for public address, and we'll hear those, and so that'll turn the PA on. You can see that red's on, and when the public address is done, I can just click this button. It's going to fade out and turn those off, and I can turn these hoop mics on. Being able to turn these are basically just ambient mics under the hoops, and having them on during warm-ups is really annoying because you hear a lot of clanking off the rim. So I just want a quick way to turn those on and off. And then most of the audio fading up and in and out is automatically done through triggers. But if something gets out of sync, I can do an audio up or an audio down to fade that audio up and right down. You can see the levels in the right hand multi-view. You can see they drop down when I fade out. So that's kind of a general layout of how I've got everything set up, and you can see this shift effect, I use it a lot in the Stream Deck. These are my indicators over here to show if the replay's on, if the external's on, if the recording's on, if the streaming's on. And if I click these buttons, what it's actually going to do is going to go to another page where I can then turn those on and off. And so I can turn that external on, or I can turn that one off, and I can turn the replay on because I don't want to accidentally turn one of those on or off. So I want them in a secondary location, but I want a quick way to get to them on and off if I need to. So that's kind of the basic setup. I think it's pretty creative the way I can do all that with just the Stream Deck and vMix, and hopefully you found that helpful.